And we should be live. Today I've decided to make a bit of a pivot. Perhaps a bit of a palette cleansing project. I'm going to start up the Warp Spiders Phoenix Lord. This is a Spectral Spinner Prime model from RTLW. It's already been primed, rather messily, but it's certainly adequate. And the plan is to make it look matching this scheme here, this test model I did of one of the standard spectral spinners from Artel. But I want to make it look way better because this is a normal Warp Spider and this is supposed to be a Phoenix Lord Warp Spider. I kind of broke the model for sub-assemblies, so we got an elaborate base here with the teleportation, the warp entry. Very cool. And then we have the awesomely posed Phoenix Lord herself. I also got a new wet palette paper ready to go, so I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, I guess it's best to start with the soft seals, as those are the deepest parts of the model here. So I'll start with some Game Color Black. I got a relaxing Sega Saturn playlist today, so it should prove to be pretty chill. You know what? These tentacle weapons are magnetized. They could be death spinners or these, I don't know, tentacle appendages. I'm going with the tentacle appendages for now because I think it makes the model a little bit more unique. Like this, Phoenix Lord has been missing in the warp for too long. Definitely the right call to not glue this model in, I think. Would certainly make painting all these details way harder. Okay, we have soft seals near the hip. I tried to do a Zenithal Prime, just to do some pre-shading, but with a white primer and that over top my black primer. But I think my airbrush was getting too hot, and white primers are rather temperamental to begin with. So, well, why are my lights wigging out? One sec. Let me see what's going on here. That, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Seems to have, the machine spirit seems to be appeased for now. And you know what? Let me just switch OBS off of studio mode before I forget. Perfect. Alrighty, where were we? I'm gonna follow this up with a layer of Inktense Black. But for now, the Inktense has a glossier finish, which I do like. for the soft seals. I think it lends itself to a nicer aesthetic. Get a bit more material definition, more variety of materials rather. With regard to the Zenith, I'll largely be, or the pre-shading, I'll largely be painting over it, but it'll serve as a guide, and I'll try and not overwrite it with a matte, not a matte, but a flat red, an opaque red coat first. I'll try and paint and maintain the value of the red armor to hopefully lend a OSL effect at the end of the day. I'm aiming to do an awesome job on this one. I feel like the Phoenix Lords are worth it. Okay, where are our other soft seals? Looks like we got the neck. Another aspect I'm a little undecided on is just for the color scheme here. GW doesn't have an official model or defined look for a Warp Spider's Phoenix Lord, so I guess it's the ball's in my court. Looks like everything else is armor. Don't really see any other soft seals. We could just paint this black. Not a big deal. It's going to be a super dark red under there anyways. Okay. Let's get the Inktense black. Nothing fancy, just a simple coat over top. Oh, you know what? I should probably check for soft seals on the Space Marine on the base. The destroyed Space Marine. Because I want to carry the soft seal color or material throughout. See, I'm not shifting gears entirely. There is a word bearer technically on this model. Or a part of this model's base, at least. Cool. How's it going, Silver Scratch Bills? Just catching up on chat now. Hello, Adam Wellman. What's on the painting table indeed? Tell me what you guys are working on. Let's share the hobby camaraderie. Please do more battle reports. Love your style over most of what YouTubers do. Ah, that's greatly appreciated. I'll consider it. I've only received good praise for those battle reports. There seems to be a minority of people who really enjoy them, but they don't do all that well for the effort they require. I do want to do another one for the Word Bearers and probably for the Phoenix Force project. I think that could be real fun. So there's certainly something on the horizon. I'd like to do a Word Bearers thematic bat rip, likely against maybe Grey Knights or Ultramarines, TBD. And it'd be Word Bearers with some Slaanesh demon allies for the, demonic. The demonic favor, the allegiance of evil. Yeah, and I kind of figured there's enough battle reports out there that are just showing the dice rolls and all of that, I do like the format that I kind of put together. It's just a lot of effort, if you know what I mean. Compared to just, filming the bat rep and then editing it together. Any other soft seals on these marine parts? This will certainly be a unique mark of armor, that's for sure. Painting Crimson Dynamo from Marvel Crisis Protocol. Hell yeah. Yeah, Marvel Crisis Protocol is... Oh, it's awesome. I quite enjoy it. I've only dabbled, played a few games to be honest, but they were very enjoyable. You like the way showing how the battle goes? You just fall asleep watching people roll dice and banter. Yeah, I can certainly appreciate that. Yeah, I think the narrative is the most interesting part of the game, so it kind of makes sense not to focus in on the gameplay too much. And there's other channels, bigger channels that do those style of reports anyways, so what's the value, right? I think keep the focus on the narrative in such a way where you can sort of understand the game and the events that are taking place. I think that's more enjoyable, more to my preference anyways. I mean, I get it. There are people who want to see armies being piloted and stress test and all of that, but different strokes, you know? I'll do something in the thematic battle report front. I have at least 2 in mind. To make it a regular thing, no promises. You know, it's one of these things like, look, if I release 2 more, or the next ones, and they perform exceedingly well, then I'll probably change my stance on them. But as of right now, thematic battle reports are just me sharing something I'm passionate about at the time. Okay, I think that soft seals are done. Let's move on to the reds. Pretty sure. So I have this test model I did. I really like the reds. The white and green checkers, I on the shoulders here, I did that to represent the Biel-Tan Craft World Shrine that this guy would be from, but the Phoenix Lord wouldn't be tied to Biel-Tan. So I don't exactly know what I'll be doing on the Phoenix Lord's shoulder pads. It's likely a problem for future me. But I'm pretty sure this red was... I mean, you can see some Evil Sun Scarlet, I think. We'll start with a base of Corn Red. Probably mixed in with some of our black, just to get our lowlights in. And, like I mentioned, I'll try and glaze some Toxic Mist in. We'll see. I want to create like an OSL kind of effect, right? She's supposed to be jumping out of this portal. So I want to kind of be mindful of the green, the greenish glow. It's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. We'll get some Corn Red on the palette. Just had to step away from the workspace here and get a get a sweat rag to dab my forehead. It's so hot in here with the lights. Okay. When did the Warp Spiders get a Phoenix Lord? They never did. I'm painting this purely for Rule of Cool. And I think for the Phoenix Force, it's an awesome model for start, and it's an appropriate choice for the Phoenix Force. You gotta have your Phoenix Lords, right? And, you know, if I do a thematic bat rep for it, I have no issues house ruling stuff, so... Especially for a thematic bat rep. You don't even talk about the rules when you're doing them anyways. Because it's about the narrative. I just mixed in some of the game color black with the Corn Red. And all of these areas are going to be, what? Rather washed out with green, right? That's the idea. How does one do that? It's gonna be tricky. Okay, let's get some Toxic Mist. Toxic Mist in the mix. I'm gonna get some Glazing Medium going as well on the palette, just to kind of not have the layers be so opaque, which might make the effect easier to sell. We'll see. You haven't played since 8th edition. Well, you know what? It's not the worst thing. Unless you've been jonesing to, I mean... I didn't play too much in 9th edition, barring a few events with friends. With the local play group, I was definitely more of a painter in 9th edition than I was a player. Did not quite care for many things in 9th edition. And the things I liked in 9th edition are gone from 10th edition. How about that? Alright, so this foot is going to catch all the light. So let's mix in more Toxic Mist. Let's just see what happens, you know? Sometimes you just gotta try it out. Oh boy. Did not paint inside the lines on that leg. Well, look. No journey is without peril, right? Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen, and you just gotta correct. Correct along the way. This is definitely gonna be an interesting challenge. Maybe it's better to stop focusing in on such a low resolution area and establish more of the general tone. Maybe that's smarter. Maybe that'll make things easier as well. You've been thinking about doing a Primaris Ravenwing. So like new Outriders with the upgrade sprue and storm speeders and that sort of thing. That could be cool. Not the same without Outrider Black Knights though, right? I would imagine. Like the Deathwing got the new model treatment this edition. I'd imagine that's what you'd want for a Ravenwing, no? Am I wrong? Am I mistaken? Try to put myself in the shoes of a Dark Angels player. Oh, just sorry, I missed your message there. I'm dead inside. Finally managed to hop onto one of my live streams. Thanks for the Tyranid videos. You've inspired me to start collecting some, and it was a perfect time because you found the Leviathan Nids for 120. Hey, nice score. And I'm happy you found the videos inspirational. Always nice to hear. Yeah, Tyranids are fun, and they got, from a playing point of view, if you're a competitive player, they got a recent buff, or if you're interested in competitive play, I should say. They got some buffs, which were much needed in my opinion, so that's a good boon. If you're into playing the game. Nothing wrong with just collecting and painting, though. It's a fun time. There's less of a roller coaster of emotions if you're a painter only. That's a nice way to put it. You're getting some starting to look like the right armor color. This is going to be such a tough effect to sell. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, Primaris Ravenwing. Look, you can make it work. You can make it work. The existing land speeder, what is it called? Dark Shroud? The Dark Shroud and the plasma one, the Vengeance, they hold up pretty well. They don't look outshined by the new Primaris speeders, in my opinion. Right, so all of these areas are red, and the big backpack's going to be all like a dark gray. I have to keep my reference model on hand here. Maybe I'll put him on this little handle for easier access. Yeah, so I did the mouthpiece red, and those side, those tube casings also red. You're gonna go finish watching Civil War Scratch Build Productions. Well, enjoy the show, and thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the company. So the Warp Spider Prime here has a little bit of a different mask than the standard model from Mattel, which I guess should be expected. Now I assume the helmet should still be white. That's quite an iconic look that the Warp Spiders have that I imagine the Phoenix Lord would carry over. Though it's not always the case with Phoenix Lords, yeah. A certain amount of this will be just guesswork. There's an old GW paint job of a Warp Spider with these blades that fade from red to black. And I think it's such a cool look, you know? It really feels like a poisonous spider. So I'm thinking of aping that sort of, you know, coloration. Sort of an homage. I'll have to pull up a reference. I think I have one open in one of my tabs here. Let's see. I do not. Wonderful. Okay, I think it was on Lexicanum. No, it wasn't. Maybe that fandom site. God, it's so much worse. Oh God, the ads. Okay, let me open this in a new tab. Okay. Let us continue. Let's get some of this toxic mist going. Yeah, it's gonna be tricky. This blade actually kind of sits inside of the portal, so it's gonna be fairly washed out in terms of its color. So I've really thinned down the toxic mist, and maybe too much, honestly. Look at this. But maybe that's what you want for this sort of effect. I don't know. First time, okay? First time, we're doing it live. Just gonna learn as we go. See what works. Oh, I'm ruining my soft seals. No. Now, I'll do my best not to, but I'm just such a messy worker, messy painter. This foot's gonna catch a ton of light, so it's gonna be washed out. And this area quite a bit as well. Let's get some of our Toxic Mist blend bleeding over this way. I think this flared area would catch quite a bit of it. The same would probably be true for the back of the arm here. And we can just begin painting this Toxic Mist, because that's going to be the portal color. Which I guess would emit quite a bit of light as well. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Yeah, I've thinned it down so much it's barely it's barely translucent. Yeah, I guess the soft seals would also be affected, right? Because right now I'm painting it as if it's not the most accurate, so I'll have to probably do something about that at some point. Okay, let's start filling in the Warp Spider jump pack. Jeez, you're not gonna see much in there, but I think black is the appropriate base color. Whoops. Yeah, honestly, not entirely sure how to handle these panels on the shoulders. They certainly shouldn't be like Craft World associated, I don't think. I think you want your Phoenix Lords to be above an individual Craft World. I'm gonna get some Toxic Mist, mixing in with some of the Game Color Black, because it's gonna be washed out as well by our Portal OSL. Alright, so you mix Toxic Mist with black and it gives you a gray color. So if you're at a gray, you could mix those two colors together. So what did I do on this guy? So the back of his pack is silver, where those tubes were from the emitter, from the portal emitter. Oh, okay. We'll get some pure black for the seams. I do think realistically these areas would be washed out as well, but you know, for the sake of aesthetics, I think I can cheat a bit. And really, this is going to be washed out considerably, so I'm just going to really push the Toxic Mist here. I can probably mix in quite a bit more, to be honest. Although, I want to start blending it out as we approach the tip of the cowl. What's up, Zacharias? Hey, if you're popping in just to like the stream, that's already above and beyond. Very much appreciated. Those YouTube gods are hard to appease, so your effort is acknowledged. I think that's looking all right. It's going to be one of those things, like trying to imagine the end result when we're nowhere near the end. It's certainly a acquired skill. Perhaps the warp spiders, because this is the Phoenix Lord. Perhaps the emitter on this gal's backpack should be gold instead of the usual silver. Maybe that could help differentiate the status. It's not necessarily a rule. I'll think about it. Probably not. Okay, let's start building up the red colors. Get a bit more corn red on the palette, and when I get the Army Painter Pure Red, I'm almost certain the test model here has been built up using blends of Pure Red. try and build up these richer red areas. I wonder if this is this seam here is supposed to be soft seals. It might be. Well, it's fairly likely that it is. Okay, still got plenty of black on the palette here. I wonder if, yeah, not actually, for sure the soft seals would be the same color as the jump pack that's being washed out by the OSL. So we can use it here, and to add in that difference in materiality, I can add some gloss medium at the very end, which we're certainly far away from. But this should help the readability of what we're going for a little bit. Pretty sure the light would mostly be obscured from this side. So we can get some of our army painter blend building up. Gotta paint the boobas, of course. Very important. Some might even say the most important. What is it about reds that blend so well? I think we gotta keep pushing the Toxic Mist, our OSL color. I think we really want to wash out the red from that direction. Okay, I hope this isn't too much. We'll have to see. Might be too much on that lower leg for sure. I feel like that's quite potent. We're fairly it's gonna be fairly dark under that shoulder pad. Yeah, something kind of like that. Okay, these blades, I want them fairly red. That's gonna blend to black, so we'll leave it like that for now. You made it, Alpharius. You survived your journey. You are officially a survivor. Good to see you. The company is always appreciated. Let's try and push that edge a little bit more. That's looking all right. This is a model that's going to consume quite a few of these painting streams, that's for sure. The goal, I think, should be from the front, fairly a standard color scheme, everything should be in line, and then from the back it should be fairly washed out from the OSL. Reasonable, right? Your connection keeps dying because you're in the middle of nowhere? Well, there's nothing much you can do about that, but look, I appreciate the effort you've shown. The record will henceforth describe you as someone who has gone the extra mile. Yeah, this energy spool is going to take up quite a few coats, I think. This whole side should be fairly washed out, really. And just a touch of washout on that casing there. We can come back in with some regular corn red too. Do a bit of cleanup. And build up the red on the inside of this arm. I swear this sounds just like Kingdom Hearts. Someone stole. Maybe it was more of an inspiration. I'm sure. That's a pretty satisfying blend. I have to darken the red a bit more in the fist here. Also, those fingers won't be readable at all. The Inktense Black is really good for this kind of a panel shading or recess shading, but I don't want the shine because it is very glossy. Great for the metallic fists of the word bearers, though. Get a bit more of that dark color and try and accentuate some of these grooves. I think the effect is there? I don't know. It's one of these things. We'll just have to see. So I wanted a black and red power blade, or whatever these are called, spectral spinner blades. Who knows? A Phoenix Lord would probably have some special variant anyways, right? I think the red to black fade certainly makes it look sinister, which is, I think, the vibe you want for a warp spider. They're all about deceit and their traps. Ambush assaults, they're not they don't have that noble edge the Dire Avengers have. Probably put a bit more black here. Okay, kind of mungled the blend. Okay, so I think what's holding back the ability to evaluate how effective the OSL is coming across is that there's just no development on this section here. So I think I have to figure something out. Looking at inspiration, I think, not inspiration, but old Warp Spider images, I think we're probably looking at, like, what color do you want to introduce, honestly? Maybe we could just checker white and black. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure how I want to proceed here. I guess I could just paint something else and then, you know, procrastinate and leave it till the end. That's an option. I just put some dark sea gray Vallejo model color on my palette. Something of a staple of mine. I'll begin painting the Warp Spider mask or helmet. Yeah, so this is very gray. And I want something near white. These panels are interesting too. Those could be red. That might look real good. It's got these like hood scoops, but they're on her face. Face scoops, if you will. Okay, we'll get some more corn red going. This is kind of an old pot, so it's not the best. And I'll just color in these areas just to kind of put some color down to help us evaluate. I'm getting dark sea gray in my corn red because I have no patience. It's okay. It's not the end of the world if the colors intermingle, right? We can layer in a bit of our pure red. Well, any more than that, I should wait for it to dry, honestly. And what about the face mask? It's metallic. I see. Okay. Let's layer in some more pure red. I can see the pre-shading filter through a little bit. And it's informing me that we need to have some of our washed out red on these ridges. Because if they were hit by the pre-shade, that means they would certainly be hit by the OSL effect I'm aiming for. What's up, Firefly? Happy to hear you're hopping right along with me. Keeps the motivation alive, you know? The morale, no morale failures yet. What are you hobbing on, Firefly? These Outriders might make me fail my battle shock test. Fair enough. Hold fast. You gotta be insanely brave, alright? Okay, let's try and blend this knife a bit better. It's a bit sudden, I think. I think that's better. Well, there are some edges which probably with some edge highlighting would look fine. Okay, I think the is this dry? Not quite. I think the direction of brush strokes matter for this sort of thing. I think it'll help sell the blend a little bit better if I'm painting horizontally. Because that's kind of the direction of the gradient. And I'm thinking if the brushstrokes are in alignment with that, it'll kind of help it along. That's the hope anyway. This is a bit of a experimentation. We're doing it live. Live and unfiltered and unscripted. It's authentic. Just trying to imagine how it would look. Ah, Firefly. I'm so pleased to hear that you've enjoyed those homebrew videos. Though I don't think, I think you meant to say word bearers, not world eaters. Just for posterity, I'll mention that. Yeah, I've been enjoying those little thought experiments. A little bit of a design challenge to take on. It's a little fun, and then you get some good feedback from the community, which is always good. Someone suggested I should do one for the Sisters of Silence Custodes detachment, which I think is low-hanging fruit, if I'm honest, so I'll probably give that a whirl. Okay, I'm gonna get some off-white mixed in with a dark sea gray to start layering up this helmet, making it look a bit more, well, it needs to look white or light gray at the end, so it definitely needs some increase in value. Though I do want to add a bit of a Colia green shade or some other cool shade to make it less warm. Because unlike Celestra Gray, which the Dark Sea Gray is a proxy for, because GW paints are overpriced, the Celestra Gray is much more neutral, where Dark Sea Gray is fairly warm. Okay, so let me try and get in here. How do I want to approach this? We have ridges. I'm going to highlight this ridge. And obviously this middle section as well, but we want to leave where that center panel meets the ridges dark. Jeez, Trabari, jeez, 40 degrees. Listen, I hate summer as well, okay? It's too hot. I'm much more of a fan of the cooler seasons than the hotter seasons. The winter months definitely have their downsides too, but like, what's the worst? You gotta wear a few more layers. Gotta put on a heavier jacket when you go outside. I can't wear less skin. It's a real problem. Yeah, I actually shouldn't focus on highlighting too much right now. Getting a bit lost in the process here. Let's just establish a brighter layer. And then wash over this. Yeah, the helmet has a lot of detail, but I think it's probably easy to wash it out if you aren't careful with where you're painting. And what, these ridges just die here, and then what? What am I looking at? What are you? Let me catch up with chat here. Yes, word bearers, painting red, so got corn on the mind. Yeah, no problemo, Firefly. Especially may need a homebrew or something. Just because, yeah, I feel like it may be tough. Oh, the Sisters of Silence? Yeah. Sisters of Silence rules are big. I have a lot to say about the Custodies. I think. I'll put it all in that video, but the Sisters of Silence detachment for sure feels rather phoned in, is the short of it. If only you could turn into a Necron to escape the inconvenience of flesh. Yeah, that is strangely poetic, Dramari. May also be worth looking at this test model. Yeah, so I painted those notches near the mouth metal as well, so maybe before washing this helmet a little bit, should probably do the metal colors. Okay. That's good. Give me more time to procrastinate with what to do with the colors here on the segmented panels. I'm not sure. You see guys, I did green and white on this test model because of Bealtan Craftworld Shrine. But a Phoenix Lord is not from a Craftworld Shrine. They're above all that. So I'm not sure how to handle these shoulder pads. Maybe just black and white? I'm hesitant to add too many other colors, because the model's going to be fairly, like, noisy, in a sense, because you have this base, this OSL element, right, of this exploded Space Marine, and she's jumping out of the portal, right? So I don't want to add, like, too many colors, if you know what I mean. I also don't know, like, what color to add, honestly. Maybe black and white is just, like, the simpler solution. I don't know. I'm gonna shake this up. I'll just mute myself. Go with what I want, eh? I guess I'll just default for whatever works best for the model. Maybe it's, maybe it'll just end up being Stegodon scale checkers, because that's the color I just seem to always return to. Oh, Stegodon scale. Let's mix in this black primer with the Dura Aluminum from Vallejo, just to get something closer to a gunmetal. Now, a Phoenix Lord should be glorious, you know, so I want it to be bright, but I'll layer up a brighter color. Hell yeah, Firefly! The Sploded Marine Base is, it's chef's kiss. It is very nice. Okay, so we're painting these mandibles metal. I think that's what you'd call them. Yeah, sorry, not on, not even in frame. Not in focus or in frame. We're on a very professional show here. Oh, is this a mold line? Gross. I need to, I can slightly see one on this side, but I need to grind that away. That's a problem. That one I cannot tolerate. It must be eradicated. So, for sure, these are metal. And then this, I don't know what to call it, this emitter of warp portaling will also be gunmetal. And then I'm gonna have to blast the shit out of it, so to speak, just in terms of how bright it should be, because it's a metallic surface against a super bright OSL, so you'd think it would be very washed out. Very reflective. It's like, why bother buying multiple metallic paints? Just buy the brightest one and then mix in black to whatever degree you need, you know? I feel like it works just as well. Though I'm admittedly biased against metallic colors. I don't judge them so severely. Maybe if there's a metallic painting connoisseur, they would say otherwise. Okay, what other areas are supposed to be metal on her? We have the mandibles. We have... How about this guy? Oh, we got some ports. We got some ports to do on the chest. I think that's it. Okay. And then we'll do our word bearer's trim. Cool. Let's do our trim. Got so much metallic, I don't want to waste it. So I guess there's not a lot of trim. I think honestly they wanted this to be a loyalist marine, but I kind of like my Eldar fighting evil. So I'm going to try and paint it as much like a Chaos Space Marine as possible. I guess I can be a bit messy with this application since I haven't painted the armor yet. That's it for leg trim, which is quite lacking compared to the or compared to the typical Chaos Space Marine. Nothing much we can do about that, though. Yeah, this base is gonna be a job, that's for sure. You can really see how annoying the white primer was being when I tried to really bump the brightness up on this thing, on this orb. Sometimes the airbrush is temperamental. spiders have chelicerae, which are like fangs. Oh, well. Today I learned, I probably butchered that pronunciation. And Emarine is up for killing in the grimdark future. Yes, that is true, Tramari, but I feel like Chaos is more evil, and so that is what I prefer. Either that or the Soul Stones. Oh yeah, why the Eldar would be fighting Chaos? Oh, there's plenty of reasons to fight Chaos. Eldar hate Chaos. They hate Slaanesh the most, but it's all problematic. There's a reason why there are Eldar associating with Guilliman. There is a greater evil than the Imperium's grimdark behavior. Geez, I'd love for a Dark Imperium Eldar story. Not Dark Imperium. What's that series that I was reading? Dawn of Fire. It's like 8 books in or so, and then it's just always Imperial POVs. I was like, give me a Chaos-centered book. Give me a Eldar set-focused book, right? It's just, I want to know what the players are up to. What's Eldrad saying? Or Yvrain, you know? All we know is they got whooped. They got whooped by that stupid named character, that Slaanesh demon, Shalaxi Hellbane. It's definitely a bit of lore that's like, look how awesome this new model is. Don't you want to buy it? Which I'm all for, but you can at least do these stories so they're a bit more tasteful, you know, like. So I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I'm pretty sure Shalaxi Hellbane whooped the Ynnari team that was trying to go after, you know, their sacred swords they're trying to recover, their crone swords, I think they're called. And then, yeah, Shalaxi Hellbane whoops all of them, all the Ynnari forces, and she's like, oh, this is not even my final form, basically, is what she says. And I'm just like, oh my god. This is so cringe. Don't do my Eldar like this. And at that time, I wasn't even collecting Eldar. I just mean from a story point of view, it just feels bad. It's kind of like, for me anyways, it's those sort of choices that make things feel grim-derp rather than grim-dark. So the saying goes. Alright, cool. Any other metallic bits? Not really. I mean, I guess I could do this wrist. I'm kind of desperate for trim. Just saw your message now, Out to Pastor. How's it going? Thanks for checking out the stream. What are we painting? I am doing a Phoenix Lord, as I'm sure you are aware. Oh, I missed the soft seals on this guy's foot. Gotta make sure those are blacked, you know? That's better. And I'll put a layer of Inktense over top, and that should do the trick. Build your very first 40K minis, a box of knobs. Nice. Very cool. I've always quite liked knobs. I just like the idea of orcs that are just super intimidating, you know? Which I guess the horde angle kind of doesn't lend itself the best to. I mean, look, a horde of orcs is intimidating, don't get me wrong. I just mean with regards to, like, the scale of which is presented. You know what I mean? Like, you see an orc boy next to a marine, and it's not the most intimidating. And I get it should all be relative to guardsmen, but I prefer the threats to humanity to essentially be intimidating even next to Space Marines. It was sort of my my whole stance with Toon Marines back in 8th edition. I was like, oh, good God. And Chaos Space Marines get their new models and they're still smaller. I'm like, oh my. I still think that's a terrible choice. Chaos Space Marines should not be smaller than Primaris. Good God. Okay, yeah, no more metal areas, so I guess we're back to this lady. I get some more game color black going. Oh, it's already coming up on 9:30. Boy, time flies when you're having fun. Just hanging out and painting with chat. Probably go for another 15, 20 minutes. I am a little curious to put some color down on the rest of this jump pack and just to evaluate how the effect looks, how it's coming along. And you know what? Because I want to paint those panels, I probably shouldn't do this first. I'll get some Incubi Darkness and begin filling in these panels. Well, every other panel. I think that looks more interesting, right? When every panel is kind of checkered. Incubi Darkness is a very reliable color. It looks interesting, and it's not too loud. I guess it's something of a crutch in that sense. Very true, Tramari. The orcs are the happiest faction. They're living in a time of surplus. Alright, so this is a little tricky. How did I do this on the back? Okay, so it's even. I mean, this is essentially going to be all washed out from the OSL anyways. And only towards the front of her are these checkers, are these colors going to be they're going to be warped towards her back because of the OSL is what I mean. And they're only going to have this kind of true Incubi Darkness color front facing, because just like the red armor, it should be washed out. Same goes for this Dark Sea Gray. Yeah, I think Incubi is the right color to use for this, because I'm going to paint those tentacles for her at some point, and I don't know exactly what color they... Well, I didn't have a color in mind, but now that I've put Incubi Darkness down, I'm thinking maybe that's a good color to work with. Okay, so I'm going to mix some Toxic Mist into this Dark Sea Gray, which is mostly just making it brighter. Okay, it's working, it's working. Might take a few attempts to get the blend right. Any thoughts on the ponytail color? I don't know if it should be red or black. It's got to be something, though. Really watering down this this Toxic Mist. It's too strong? We'll see. How's it going, Michael Daggle? Trying to choose a new army between Guard and Drukhari. I prefer Drukhari. Mainly because I think Guard is a much more demanding project. But if the passion is there, like, have at it, right? I think I gotta push the Toxic Mist on that gray a bit more. It should essentially, you know what, it should actually be more intense than the black. Like, this material here is black. Back here, it's almost the same color as this lighter gray. So really, we need more Toxic Mist. Make him a ginger with the ponytail? Yeah, we could. I never know if these are... Well, I would assume it's like the Custodes plumes, right? Maybe it's not a ponytail. Maybe I used the wrong word. But I think red would look good, right? It's certainly the Warp Spider's main color. Yeah, I need more Toxic Mist. It's a useful color. I'm using it as an alternative to GW's Gauss Blaster. It's similar enough. Might have to just dedicate a stream for refining the blends. Yeah, it's gonna be a multi-stream project. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big old project. Oh, green. I just saw your message there, Tremar. You're saying green to contrast the armor. It could work as well. I wasn't leaning towards green because I didn't want to make it look like it belongs to Biel-Tan, but look, certain Phoenix Lords just have different colors. It doesn't necessarily mean that you belong to a particular craft world. We can put some Toxic Mist on these tubes. It does seem to be the case that the some of the what are they called? The GW painters, the heavy metal guys, have been painting Warp Spiders with the green accents. Probably because of, like you said, it just contrasts nicely with the red armor. So I can consider a green. Okay, let's do a wash on the mask, like I said I was going to do like 30 minutes ago. And then I'll do a quick defining of the borders of this jump pack, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. I'm gonna mix in a bit of Lamian medium to this Colia green shade, just to lessen the intensity. Okay, let's put it all over. Just to kind of create a cool undertone. Very cool. I just want to pull it out of the recesses, because those details are pretty fine, and I don't want it to blotch them out, you know? Okay, let's put some color down here. That might help establish the general aesthetic of the OSL. Like every other color, it is going to get washed out. So I still have some of that mix I used earlier. Might have to bump it up a touch. It's like you would do this effect with an airbrush. Pretty, I mean, I think that would be the typical approach. And when doing it that way, you would just wash out, like you'd blow out all the colors, right? Because you'd be spraying it after the fact. Or maybe before, and then you touch it up a bit. So I think that's the right effect to go after. But I do think you want each color to kind of, I don't know, like what the right percentage is. It should show through, like 10%. Maybe it would, well, different colors would reflect light differently, so maybe 10% is just a good kind of rule of thumb. The spiders Chelicerae are kind of like the predator alien multi-limbed mouth. Okay. One ugly motherfucker, yeah. Classic. Well, it's something, you know. It's looking. Well, look, it has paint on it, right? So that's already better than how it started. And we'll just refine the kind of the look as we go, I guess. Just keep playing with blending in toxic mist. Create that side lighting. Well, I think this is where we're at. We're gonna wrap up the stream. Yeah, we got a base, not too much progress, but you got some metal, some soft seals in place. Kind of cool. Looking all right. And the Phoenix Lord herself, the Spectral Spinner Prime, is looking pretty good. Pretty good. It's one of these effects that are hard to kind of evaluate as you're doing it. I find coming back to it later with a fresh perspective kind of helps you kind of evaluate the areas that need refining. With this sort of thing, anyways. Anyways, to everyone who made it to the end of the stream, you guys are the real hobby heroes. Company is always appreciated to keep the morale high when we're out here grinding the hobby. Good hustle to everybody who's joining in on the hobby efforts. Anyways, tomorrow's Friday, so maybe a live stream. We'll see. It'll be impromptu, if anything. But with that, I'll wrap this stream up.